Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Positively Disney podcast. I'm Kimberly Bouchard, the author of the Positively Disney book series and your host for the Positively Disney show. Thank you so much for dropping by today. I'm so excited. There's so many things going on that are all good, and I'm just really glad that you could stop by today and take a listen to the show and my guests. But before we go on to that, I just want to thank my sponsor, Michelle McCune over at Years of Experience. Well, she will put together an amazing vacation for you. She also will be able to provide sort of the first point of contact if you want to do a wedding or an event of whatever sort at Disney. So give her a call or email her at mmckeown at themouseexperts.com. I have a little announcement to make, and I'm very excited to let you know that my show has been invited on Magic of the Mouse Radio. Guys, it is 24/7 of your favorite Disney songs, and my show is debuting actually on Wednesday, April 7th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with replays Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to find them, just Google them, Magic of the Mouse Radio, and you can also find them on WDIZDB.com. So WDI Z in Canadian, db.com, and you will find them. It's absolutely an amazing radio show. So pretty excited about that. Want to just say hello to those tuning in with me today. Believe it or not, on this day, a lot of things actually happened. The Disneyland Plans were officially announced April 2nd back in 1954, which I think is really cool that today is that day, particularly because we're going to be talking a lot about the parks and the inner workings of the parks. Another thing to note, in 1984, Tokyo Disney actually welcomed their 10 millionth guest, 10 millionth. And it was 2 weeks shy of their first anniversary. Can you imagine? That's a lot of people, 10 million people within the year at Tokyo Disney in 1984. I don't know about you guys, but at Tomorrowland in Magic Kingdom, there is that wonderful attraction called Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor. Well, believe it or not, they opened the doors in 2007 on this day. And I actually did not go to it for a while. I wasn't too sure what it was about, to be honest with you. And finally, we did get to it and had an absolute blast. And anybody that doesn't know what the Laugh Floor is, it's a show, but it's interactive. So just to give you a little idea, is that you can be called from the audience, or the camera can focus on you and I guess showcase you in some way, shape, or form. So for example, my husband, not once, but twice ended up being that guy, which was kind of fun. Any of you that have seen the show. And I could not believe it, but I was picked to be the alien with my antenna, and I had to make alien noises. Well, I can't do alien noises or sound effects, quite frankly, when it's the best of times, but then put it in front of an audience and you have to do these strange sounds for an alien and wiggle your antennae around. It was pretty daunting, but all in good fun. It's super wonderful show. Check it out if you guys ever can remember to do that in Tomorrowland. Another thing here is I wanted to tell you, on this day, the last show in 2016 of Lights, Motor, Action in Hollywood Studios. Do you guys remember that show? That was the different, they were kind of race cars, really, in a setting in Paris, France, and there was sort of a getaway car and all that. Some amazing stunt driving in that, and it was a lot of fun. It was a huge attraction. It hadn't been there forever. I can't remember the exact day that it opened, but we had seen it many times. And of course, that was closed down to make room for some of my amazing other things. Of course, Galaxy's Edge being the replacement for that area. But that was such a fun show, and it was really loud. I remember that. And lots of gas fumes, but in a good way, and motorcycles, and just some stunts that you were so up close and personal with, kind of as close as the stunt show, the Indiana Jones stunt show, I have to say. But at any rate, I also wanted to say that, believe it or not, so 2019, I'm taking these statistics. Visitors to Walt Disney World was 20.96 million. Overall, that year to the Disney parks around the world was over 157 million. That is crazy numbers. And Walt Disney World also had close to 80,000 cast members. That's an awful lot of people to manage, I think. And my guest tonight is none other than Lee Cockerell, the former Executive Vice President of Operations of Walt Disney World. And I'm going to be asking him some of those hard questions, like how in the world do you manage that? How do you manage all those people and do an incredible job at it, first of all, so that we all want to keep coming back? Before I go on, I just really want to thank Jesslyn. I can see Michael is on here. Michelle, thank you for joining me today. I can see you commenting. If you have any questions for me that you would like me to ask Lee, I will try my best during our conversation to do so, and just type them in. And we'll be good to go. Just want to say also to a hello to Francisco, who's watching all the way from Colombia. If you guys saw last week's show, Francisco was a cast member from the cruise line that shared a lot of amazing things that happen as a cast member on the cruise line. So Francisco, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And we're just going to get Lee on the phone here in a moment, but it's kind of crazy how many people attend the parks when you think about it. It's like that's several cities really of people visiting. So we're just going to get him on the line here and just hear a dial tone. But so Michael is a cast member, and he's talking about Lee and his son. Hi, Lee. Welcome to the show. It's Kimberly. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am absolutely wonderful. And we have, believe it or not, a little bit of the Florida sunshine today in Seattle. Isn't that great?
I can't believe it.
I know.
You're telling the truth?
Yes, yeah. I am. I got a witness right beside me.
All right.
Yeah. So, Lee, I was just telling the audience some of the crazy statistics of guests visiting the parks. Like in 2019, there was like 20.96 million and 157 million over that worldwide visiting the park, and 80,000 cast members in 2019 at Walt Disney World alone. Now, before you tell me how in the world you do that and how you did that, managing everybody, you worked for the Walt Disney Company doing something else before you were Executive VP of Operations at Walt Disney World. What did you do before that?
Well, I started my career at Hilton Hotels and worked for them for 8 years all over the country, New York, Chicago, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to Marriott for 17 years. I was the vice president of food and beverage operations there for the company.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got recruited by Disney in 1990 to go to France.
Okay.
And opened Disneyland Paris.
Wow.
And went there for three years, which made my wife love me even more, living in Paris.
Okay.
And
it is the city of love, isn't it?
Yeah, I got a French daughter-in-law out of it and 3 little French-American grandchildren. So Disney gives you a lot.
And, that's wonderful. What,
then I came back to Disney World, and later in 93, I came back to Disney World and spent 13 years there running the operation.
Well, I'm thinking that, so you started out at Disneyland Paris, and that's kind of a big change from being in America. What did you find the most challenging in that position, actually?
Everything.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
Of course, I'd been to France. I'd traveled all over the world many times, and
Right.
we used to go to France frequently because we had good friends there.
Mm.
But of course, doing it, I didn't speak French, so all of a sudden I had to deal through a translator, which was difficult.
Oh,
And
wow.
you can never communicate totally that way,
Mm-hmm.
the way you would like to. And well, the culture is different there. We had to recruit thousands of people. I spent 2 years just flying around the world hiring chefs,
Oh,
restaurant managers. I had to hire about 250 managers, and so
wow.
a lot of them, well, almost all of them had never worked for Disney, so that
Mm-hmm.
was getting them up to speed on the culture and how we do things. And
Mm-hmm. Oh, my goodness.
yeah, it was
What a
different
ride.
than anything I'd ever done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Holy cow. Uh, you then became executive vice president of operations at Walt Disney World. Now, as I said, I told the audience about some of the statistics about guests and cast member numbers, which is absolutely insane, really, when you think about it. What did your job entail, really, and how did you do that?
Well, I would say I had responsibility for all the operating areas: food, merchandise, security, transportation, all that kind of stuff that the
Mm-hmm.
guests see, and the backstage areas where the guest doesn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And how I did it is I tell people say, "What'd you do, Lee?" I said, "Nothing." Basically made sure things got done, and I had three things I focused on. One was hiring the right people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very particular about that. I take my time. Don't hire, as we say, hire slow and fire fast. If you
Oh,
make a
okay.
mistake.
Okay.
And second, training. I mean, making sure everybody was trained. And third, trying to create a culture where people woke up in the morning wanted to come to work versus have to come.
Ah.
And so that's what I focused on. I hired experts to run all the technical parts,
Mm-hmm.
the food and merchandise, security, and all. And I just focused on those three things mainly.
Mm-hmm.
If we have great people that are well trained and they love to come to work, you get those three right in any business, you're going to be successful. And I think enough people don't think about what are the most important things you should be spending your time on, because you only have so much time every day.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't be involved in everything. If you hire experts, let them do their job.
Right. Exactly. And you know what? I just love that about you hire people that wake up every day that want to be there. Isn't that's really a gift to be able to wake up every day and want to go to work, don't you think?
Yeah. I said we were trying to create a place where everybody matters and they knew it.
Yeah.
And when you know you matter, you get up and you go to work, and like me, you can be better at work than it is at home.
Yeah.
A lot of people live on the edge.
Yeah, that's for
We have a
sure.
lot of issues, and we want it to be, really, I always said, we want the sun to shine at work, so they want to get up and come in, and sometimes it's better than where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Awesome.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way, but I also think about when, people, we say it's the happiest place on earth to visit, but I have heard from so many different cast members that it's actually the happiest place on earth to work as well, and that is always their last job. And I love that. I love that. I can just imagine the joy that they have to be able to do that and be part of such an amazing experience, right?
Yeah, and I think it's not that easy to get hired by Disney because we're very particular. And then
Right.
I think a lot of that's pride. They're just proud to say, "Hey, I work for a great company." And the guests, we're lucky. 99% of our guests love us.
Yeah. Yeah. That's always a good sign too, right?
Yeah, we're not selling oil or cigarettes or stuff that people get mad about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so yeah,
That's
we're
great.
already starting each day off pretty well with everybody really being glad to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you have had other family members as well, part of the Disney company. Who were they, and what did they do?
Well, it's funny. My son started with Disney. He got out of college and he went to Boston University, graduated in '91. And I asked him what he's going to do, and he said he was going to go to Australia and drink beer and play rugby.
Oh.
And I said, no, why don't we rethink that? And so I encouraged him to apply for a job at Disney. You could get a job there for 18 months and a visa because they were looking for Americans.
Okay.
And so he finally did that. And he started in the parking lot as an hourly employee, and he became a manager. Even today, he speaks fluent French, and he worked in France for 5 years, running Disney different operations there. And then he came back here, and he was with Disney a total of 27 years.
Oh, wow.
And now he has his own little business, and they just moved to Boulder, Colorado. They moved because they like to ski and hike, and so they're in Boulder.
Okay.
And with their dog, Blue.
Oh, so, that's perfect.
Well, his kids are all out of college. One's 25. He's a biomedical engineer. One's the girl, Margot's 22. She works in marketing up in Colorado. And the other one is spending a year with us because he didn't want to go back to virtual college. He's waiting for the classes to
resume. Right.
So everybody left us after all the years here in Orlando, and now we'll be on Southwest flying to Denver, I guess.
Yeah.
To see everybody.
Yeah.
But my wife even worked for Disney for 3 days when we opened Disneyland Paris. They recruited everybody to get their hands on. So we all had a Disney name tag at one point.
That is amazing. Yeah. Well, I know I had, believe it or not, I think I had Dan on, it was like 2 years ago. And it was actually the 2-year anniversary when he had left Walt Disney World. And for our listeners, Dan was VP in Epcot, VP of, I think, Hollywood Studios, and then VP of Magic Kingdom was his last post, I think. Is that right? Something like that?
That's right.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly right.
Oh, gosh.
He knows more about Disney than I do.
Oh, well, I think you got I think you would be winning everything hands down in a trivia night, Eddie, if you participated as a family, for sure. No, I was just curious to know if any of your grandchildren did the college program at all. Did they participate at all in that? Or
they didn't do the college program, but they all worked at Disney in the summers. They in horticulture and basically pulling weeds and unloading bags of mulch.
Oh,
and
okay.
And it was a hard job, and it was hot, and it was good. And they had to be to work at 6 a.m, and we liked them to do that kind of work. And then one worked in quick service food at the Magic Kingdom. Margot did. And then our grandson, who's living with us right now while he decides where he's going to school this fall, works at the French Pavilion right now.
Oh, perfect. And I mean, obviously the grandchildren are fluent in French as well, since their mom is French, I would think. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they're all fluent in French.
Nice.
And,
nice.
So,
that's wonderful. Now, I mean, there's so many, when I think about what is the best part, there's so many parts that are the best, I have to think, in my mind. But what was the best part of all of this for you, Lee?
Oh, I think, I had a great career going. Marriott was fabulous. They were such a great company. I joined them when they only had 32 hotels. Today they have 7,000.
Wow.
So I was there in the early days, which was great.
Wow.
But Disney is special. I mean, what you learn at Disney is, I always tell my friends, parents don't tell their kids, I'll take you to Marriott when you grow up. They say, I'll take you to Disney.
Right.
And it's worldwide, and I was proud to work there, and I learned a lot. And what I learned there is everything matters.
Yeah.
If you want to be excellent, everything matters. You got to pay attention to every little thing. And the guests, most guests are paying out of their pocket. And are not like at Marriott where you're on an expense trip. And
right.
And it's the biggest trip of their life for many of them. And especially when you have children, you've got to not make mistakes.
Right.
I mean, these kids, when you're 4 and 5 years old, they believe every single thing.
Right.
And they're excited. And so that was a whole new, I tell people, we were putting on a hit show every day, and it had to be perfect.
Wow.
And that's
it's a lot of pressure.
And,
that's a lot of pressure on yourselves. But I think that Yeah, that's an understatement, isn't it?
Yeah, my wife said my face relaxed the day I retired.
Oh.
So,
Oh my gosh.
you go at a fast pace there. It's
Yeah.
never, it's more and more. I mean, it's so busy, and it's every day.
Oh, yeah.
There's no weekend. I mean, every day is the same.
Right.
Busy every day.
Yeah, absolutely. It
Yeah.
doesn't shut down. I mean, the thing is too, is that there, even though the park closes to guests, it never closes, right? I mean, you've got people coming in, working day and night, right? Yeah. So,
Oh, absolutely. Huge work at night doing all the maintenance and safety inspections and cleaning. And we've got all the hotels that have tens of thousands of people in them.
Well, yeah, exactly. I was thinking about this a while ago, but I thought being there in your position, you probably have seen some pretty crazy and possibly really funny things. Do you have any stories to share about that? What's your, I think, funniest / craziest thing you've ever experienced there?
Well, I can tell you one thing. When you're at Disney and when you're in the hotel business and entertainment, anything that happens in real life happens at Disney, both good and bad.
Okay.
And but I think some of the great stuff was, the kids are so excited to come. We have the Make-A-Wish that we do so many of those, and I think the most moving kinds of things are when a lot of kids don't make it through that. I mean, they get here, they see Cinderella, and they end up passing.
Yeah.
And those are heartfelt. I mean, everybody is all over that. And we have kids who come with autism, and after they ride the rides and are at Disney 2 or 3 days, they speak for the first time.
Gosh, if that's amazing.
And the parents are just shocked. We had a family that moved from New York to Orlando because every time they go to Disney, their child gets better. And they think it's all the sounds, the music, the lights, who knows what it is.
Well, it's a happy place, right? It's a happy place. It exudes happiness. Oh.
And that happens fairly often, I believe it or not. Yeah. It's
wow.
I think it's just a magical place for people that it's so different than anywhere else they've ever been or seen.
Right. Gosh.
And even soldiers come before they were deployed to the war in Afghanistan and Iraq. They and their families would come to Disney first, and then they would go off to battle. And when they got back, they came right back to Disney because they had those memories of having a great time together as a family. Yeah, those are things that really strike you.
And it really feels like Disney is such an anchor for so many people. Like whether you can make it to the parks or the films or whatever, but particularly the parks it just seems like people, I mean, life happens. There's things good and bad. And it just seems like Disney will always be there and people can kind of always count on it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, a lady said to me once, she said, "Lee, can you imagine the world without Disney?" And I never had thought about it that way, but that's how much it means to a lot of people. It's kind of this time when it's kind of like meditation, when you can step back and really. And we have, I mean, the pent up demand right now because of this pandemic is, I imagine 2022 is going to be outrageous.
Yeah. I think so too. It's you, as I said, you've had a lot of experience. Is there one particular moment in your 13 years there that stands out in your mind particularly that you would like to share?
Well, the one thing that really strikes me, it was a good day and a bad day, was 9/11, when all of our people just did a great job of evacuating the parks, getting everybody back in the hotels. We evacuated 90 minutes, 75,000 people, and had them in the hotels. We sent characters to the hotels to entertain them. People were really emotionally upset because a lot of our guests are from New York, New Jersey, the Northeast. And one of our bellmen gave his car to a fireman so he could get back to New York, and went to pick it up later because all the rental cars were immediately gone. There was nothing available, and nobody could fly.
Right.
And most people don't fly in here; they don't have their cars. And it was just one great thing after another. I just watching the cast; they all just stayed cool, calm, and collected, and did it right. And the next day we reopened, and Yeah, I mean, to see people execute under a crisis is pretty amazing.
That is absolutely outstanding. It almost brings me to tears because I can only imagine how, I mean, the cast members felt the same as the guests, I'm sure, and they rose to the occasion in like unbelievably so. That's
they did, and I think the professionalism, because they were they had family in New York too, and
of course.
But that's I always tell people that's what professionalism looks like: staying cool and calm under pressure.
Well, and I really have to think that a lot of it has to do from just the people that you hired, and they
absolutely
were special people. I think you had said something about you don't hire people to teach them to smile or something. You hire people that smile already. Or what is your saying about that? I can't remember now.
Well, I mean, we've said we don't hire people, make them nice. We hire nice people.
Okay, that's right. Okay, that's it. I
think a lot of companies think they can fix people. You can't fix people.
Yeah.
And if you want to do it, try it with your wife or husband.
Oh my gosh. I think, people could learn a lot from Disney, more than just working there. I think in their general life, Oh my gosh.
I think I'm going to start a marriage counseling system.
I was just going to say that. That's brilliant. I have actually, he's a cast member at Walt Disney World, and he said, is there, out of all the people you have worked with, is there somebody in particularly that stands out, and why? Is there someone that just kind of comes to mind quickly?
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
I mean, we have people that have been there. George Kalligridis being one. George started there as a busboy. He was Greek. He had a Greek name, so they put him in food, although he'd never been in a restaurant.
Oh.
And that probably would be inappropriate today. But he became president of Disney World, and he's celebrating his 50th year right now. From the busboy at 17 to becoming the president. And he's gay, and outwardly gay. And that just shows you what could happen from 1971 to the times we're in now, how the world has changed.
Wow.
And how the company, one thing I love about Disney is they don't care about anything except performance. We don't care where you're from. We don't care what color you are. We don't care if you're gay or anything.
Yeah.
Just do your job, and people feel very comfortable working at Disney because of that. A lot of kids will tell me. One guy told me, he said, I'm gay, and I feel more comfortable at Disney than I did ever in my home, or in my college, or in my high school. And I said, that's a compliment to the environment and culture we have, because when people are happy, they take care of the guests.
Yeah. Well, that's true. And, I think also, everybody that goes there, to all who enter, welcome, right?
Exactly.
Right. And that goes for cast members and guests alike. And that is the beautiful thing. And Lee, you think about it, in that, I don't know how many square miles Walt Disney World is, because it's the largest property of the Disney properties, I think, right? Yeah. So if they can do that, if the company can achieve that in those square miles, then the rest of the world surely can do that too. Do you know what I mean? I just think it's possible, right?
Yeah, and Disney does it because, I just think the key is, I always tell people, we're very clear about our expectations when we hire people.
Yeah.
So you're entering, and what how your behavior, your performance, how you treat people, how you treat each other. That expectation is kind of like great mothers. Mothers have high expectations for their kids. Mm-hmm. And, I said mothers have two things that every leader needs in the world. Mothers have empathy, and they have discipline. They'll use both of them on you.
Right.
And, my mother was a terrorist before they had them in the world. Oh. She kicked her butt. And she wanted us to be successful.
Yeah.
And empathy and discipline. And you got to use a balance of those in life to raise your kids or to lead, or because you got to have hard conversations sometimes, make hard decisions.
Right.
But also, people got to know you care about them.
Right. Right.
And those two things, and I think that's what's lacking with a lot of leaders all over, is they don't have that balance.
I agree.
They're too hard. You know.
Yeah.
You have discipline and no empathy, people think you're a jerk.
Right.
And you have empathy and no discipline, people think you're just an easy pushover.
Exactly, and chaos ensues. Yeah.
And mothers are the best at that. Don't mess with a mother.
I love that. Yay. Mom power here. Yay. So
I tell people, anytime you're in trouble in your life and you don't know what to do, call your mom. She'll tell you. She knows.
That's true. And you know what? And we look at it from all angles. We do look at it from the empathetic point of view, as well as like, well, that's right or that's not right, you know? So I hope everybody's listening to this and appreciating their mothers even more. I mean, the dads have a place.
If you got an employee not performing, what should you do? People say, I don't know. Well, your mother knows. She'll say, well, have you talked to them?
Yeah, exactly.
And yes, well, how many times? 3 times, 4 times? Well, then fire them.
Yeah.
Moms don't play around.
Yeah, I know. We got to get the job done. We're multitaskers and we got to focus. So we don't need the riffraff. Yeah, exactly. Lee, I mean, now that your family's all left you, except for your grandchild, do you guys still get into the parks at all? Do you still like to go and do things?
Well, this year we haven't.
Well, I mean, obviously, but generally speaking.
Yeah, generally. I'm over at Disney fairly often in the hotels, particularly because I speak to a lot of groups on customer service, and I was just there last week.
Oh, nice.
But this year's been really rough.
Yeah.
Although I have a lifetime pass for 4, so we get over there, and my grandkids grew up there.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to recover from my granddaughter sitting on my shoulders watching the parade.
Oh my gosh.
You know?
Yeah, no, that's good. And I mean, I would imagine you enjoy the world-class restaurants they have there, since you. Yeah.
Well, California Grill's still my favorite after all these years.
Okay.
Because I was Dieter Hanning and I got Michael Eisner to give us $6 million to make that restaurant, and then we found out we had an asbestos problem. I had to spend another $1 million.
Oh.
So, and it came out so good, and it still is. And it's top of the Magic, overlooking the Magic Kingdom. So, and the food is great.
Oh my gosh.
So, I love the restaurants there.
That is one of the restaurants I have never managed to eat in. I hear so many people. I mean, I hear about engagements there. I hear, the place is absolutely outstanding. And you're just reminding me now that I've got to make a reservation.
Do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going in a few weeks. Yeah.
Then the 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, whenever it is, the lights go down low. The fireworks start at the Magic Kingdom, and the music's piped in from the Magic Kingdom. I mean, it's amazing.
Gosh, well, maybe I should.
We'll never forget.
Yeah, I'll check it out in a few weeks, and then go back because I don't think they're doing fireworks yet right now, right? Is that correct?
No.
Yeah. So when they do fireworks, I'd love to see it there when the fireworks and music are happening. So now, I mean, you do speaking engagements, you do books. Can you tell us? I think you've done several books actually. Can you tell us a little bit about those books? What inspired you to write them, and what are they about?
Well, I always thought I knew something after 42 years of working for the 3 great companies and being all over the world. But I was very insecure, so I didn't think anybody would buy a book from me. So I never did it. And then my wife went to college with a lady who became a big New York literary agent. She worked with Jackie Kennedy and Bishop Tutu and all these famous people. And she came to visit us, and she read some of my stuff and said, you ought to write a book. And I said, yeah, but I don't know how to. She said, I'll take care of that. And so I wrote, and she got a professional writer. I wasn't a very good student, so I said I needed somebody to tell me where to put the commas because I don't know where they go. And those colons and semicolons, I'm still trying to figure out what those are for.
Oh, okay.
And English And so we did it. And the first book is in 22 languages now.
Wow.
It's sold 600,000 copies so far.
Wow.
And then the second one, The Customer Rules, is in 16 languages. And then I did one on time management, how to organize yourself to get more done, which I teach for 35 years.
Nice.
And then I wrote one called Career Magic, is how to keep your career under control when those obstacles appear in your life. A bad boss, a bad job,
right.
a bad city, all the things that are going to happen and will happen to you. And it's how you handle them. And then we've written two more, which is a Business 101 course for the State University of New York. It's a freshman course. And just wrote another one called Hardwiring Magic, and that's a little manual on how to put it in your business if you're a company, and how to get the culture right, how to get the hiring right, and the training right, and all those things that people want to know.
Wow.
So yeah,
some real pearls.
Yeah, I started something called the Cockerell Academy over this last year, and it's an online subscription service. There's 10 courses on there now, everything from time management to how to organize your day to real leadership to how to make better decisions, all kinds of courses.
Nice.
World-class customer service course. Yeah, and we're even doing courses for certificate courses for universities now.
Oh, that's amazing.
A lot of universities.
Oh.
Yeah, they're looking for content.
Yeah.
For adult education. And a lot of people are trying to get better because they're trying to get back in the workforce.
Right.
And so it's going well with that. That's been fun to do.
That's
Since I didn't graduate from college, I dropped out because I didn't go to class.
Oh.
And so I thought I'd just create my own college.
Oh.
So now.
Holy cow. That's amazing.
No, it's funny. I dropped out of college after 2 years because I was so young and immature and didn't go to class and went in the Army.
Okay.
And year before last, I did the commencement address at the school I dropped out.
Oh, well, isn't that a little ironic? Holy cow.
That was how I got even with life.
Oh.
It was funny.
Well, now, Lee, where can people find, first of all, the books, and then where can they find this program? I think this is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they can go to my website, Lee Cockerell, COCKERELL.com.
Okay.
And everything I do is there. The books, the courses. We have a website, we have a podcast called Creating Disney Magic. There's been going on for 7 years. There's 350 or 60 episodes on there. They're only 15 minutes.
Nice.
Every Tuesday, and they're on leadership, management, customer service. We've done them on anxiety, depression, all kinds of things people are facing today, and those are free.
Wow.
And they're quite good. So you can find everything at the website.
Okay. And if somebody wants to invite you,
as I get older, I have to put everything on the website so I know where it is.
Well, it kind of blows me away because you are retired from the company, but you sure the heck haven't retired from life. And I think it's outstanding what you're doing. My gosh. What a way to help others in so many ways.
That would be advice for everybody retiring. Make sure you got something to do, because I can tell you one thing, being bored is about the worst thing you can deal with.
Right.
And if you think you're going to play golf every day, you'll get tired of that too.
Right.
So you better have something to do, because you can be retired for a long time these days.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, I'm a retired teacher, but I actually that's when I started using my skills as an author, and it just it actually transitioned without me even realizing it, to be honest with you. And so people are like slowing down now. That I've got friends that are thinking about retirement on the sooner side now, and I can't even imagine that. I'm like, what would I? This is what I do now. So I'm not retired. I retired from one thing, but then created my other career, so to speak. Which brings a lot of joy.
I'm afraid if I didn't have something to do, my wife might leave me. So I better keep busy.
Yeah, I always hear about that it's not as pleasant. Retirement isn't always as pleasant with your other half when you're both retired and not doing anything. So yeah, that's
She told me, she said, when I retired, Lee, I'm not answering your phone. I'm not taking messages. So you've got to get that set up yourself. And we've been married 53 years, and
Oh,
she said
gosh.
she's going to stay. So I know I'm doing very
Oh,
well.
there you are. You're
My,
good.
my mother was married 5 times.
Oh,
She was kind of busy.
oh. Well, we are just celebrating 28, so we've got a few years to catch up on you. But isn't that brilliant? Well, congratulations. That's so awesome to hear. Well, you were just mentioning earlier about talking and doing some talks in the resorts or whatever. So if somebody wants to have you as a speaker, they can also find you on your website to book that. Is that correct?
Yeah, my phone number is on there, my address, my email, anything.
That's
and if
awesome.
you call my cell phone, I answer it.
You know what? I love that. I know. I remember when I talked to you for the first time, like several years ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she actually answered the phone, because that doesn't always happen.
Somebody asked me, why do you answer your phone? I said, because you book more business when you answer the phone.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, yeah, because people tend not to like to leave messages, right? And yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, and trying to get back to them then too is probably interesting as well. Lee, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's just been so fun talking with you and learning a bit more. I always learn something new whenever I chat with you. And yeah, I do actually, more than what I thought I would, but anyways, well, listen, you have a wonderful weekend. Happy Easter to you and your family, and well done you on everything.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me on, and I'm going to prepare the Easter eggs to hide them shortly.
Oh, there you go. All right. Have fun. Well, listen, thanks, and take good care, and we'll be in touch.
All right. You take care too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh gosh, that is that he's such a going concern. He's just such a wonderful human, and it just kind of shows you, honestly, Disney does it right. You guys that are cast members watching, you know what I'm talking about. They really do. And I guess Michael, who's a cast member, he said the classes. I think he said the cast member classes he gave was for 28,000. I'm not sure if that's for 28,000 28,000 cast members he's done classes for, or just what. But it's really, really amazing. It makes me so excited for you guys that work at Walt Disney World, and to really have that kind of a legacy continue. It's not just, Lee had a part of that for 13 years at Walt Disney World, and to pass that on, and the whole, it is a culture, and it's, so many of you share amazing stories with me. That's one of the reasons why I write the Positively Disney series, is so that we can share those stories to the world that you have encountered. And I just, honestly, I got chills when he was talking about the children with autism beginning to speak for the first time, because, any of you guys that have read my books, there are some amazing connections with some of those children the children in my book that are on the autism spectrum. And it just still almost makes my hair stand on end, because it's so phenomenal. It's something very tangible you cannot explain, but boy, do you see the effects, right? Anyways, I just want to thank you guys for dropping by tonight and listening, having a good listen to Lee. I learned something new from him all the time, and just so glad that he was able to make it on, and I'll have him on again sometime. But guys, until I see you again, please take care, be safe, happy Easter, and until next week, God bless. Bye-bye.